Hello, everybody. Today I will be discussing or rather going through the chapter of French Revolution of the NCERT textbook, and alongside also I will be discussing some important questions and answers of this chapter which will be helpful for you if you have an important examination coming up. Okay, so let's start. On the morning of 14 July 1789, the city of Paris was in a state of alarm. This was because the king had commanded the troops to move into the city. There were rumors that the king would command them to open fire on the citizens. The citizens were very afraid and panicked, and about 7,000 men and women gathered in front of the town hall and decided to form a people's militia. But they did not have arms and ammunition. So they broke into a number of government buildings in search of arms and ammunition. Finally, many people marched into the eastern part of the city, and stormed into the fortress prison, Bastille, where they hoped to find a lot of ammunition. In the fight that followed, the commander of the Bastille was killed and the prisoners were released. The Bastille fort was hated by everybody because it stood for the despotic power of the king. The fortress was demolished and the stone parts of the fortress were sold in the market to all those people who wished to keep a souvenir of the destruction. So, one question at this point is raised: explain the importance of the storming of Bastille, or describe the event that took place in France on 14th July 1789. Now, this picture which you see is the storming of Bastille, where the people have taken the ammunition and are fighting with the. On top, you can see there are some people who are fighting. The French society during the late 18th century. In 1774, Louis XVI of the Bourbon family of kings ascended the throne of France. He married the Austrian Princess Marie Antoinette. But when he ascended the throne of France, due to the long years of war, the financial treasury of France had been completely drained. All the financial resources of France were wasted, or they were gone. There was nothing in the treasury. So Louis VI, and even after that, Louis XVI of France helped 13 American colonies to gain their independence from Britain, who was their common enemy. Now these war added another billion livres. Livres was the unit of currency in France, which was discontinued after 1794. So now the debt had become up to 2 billion. Lenders who gave state credit now began to charge even more 10% interest on loans. To meet the regular expenses such as maintaining an army, the court, running government offices or universities, the king increased the taxes. This was naturally what a monarch would do if his treasury was depleted. He would increase the taxes. Now the problem came in. Now, as you can see over here, the first estate is the clergy or the churches. Second estate are the nobility or the relatives of the king, and the third estate first come in third estate the topmost branch was the big businessmen, merchant, court officials, lawyers, etc. Then the second part of the third estate means who are higher than the third part but lower than the first part are peasants and artisans, and the lowest of all were peasants, landless labor who worked. Landless labor means the labor who worked on others' land, and the servants of nobility and clergy. So only the third estate were the people who paid the taxes. And now there were many types of taxes which were paid by the third estate. Some taxes were First of all, we should know that the first and second estate were born with privileges, like they did not pay taxes, and they were exempted from paying taxes, and the churches also got their share of taxes from tithes from peasants, which was a tax which had to be given to the church, which was 1/10 of their produce. Then came the taille, which was a direct tax which you had to pay to the king or the government. And the nobility the third estate had to pay feudal dues to the nobility. So the so naturally the third estate came into a lot of what do you say a lot of pressure, because of lot of taxes, and after all they were employed by the first and second estate, mostly the nobility. Now this is a picture which shows that how the nobility is, just sitting down and relaxing, and the poor people or the people of the third estate who do not even have money to even take care of themselves have to give their produce or their whatever their earnings, they have to give it to the, not whatever, but a part of their earnings have to be given to the nobility. Then they say that the nobleman is a spider, and the poor person is a fly, the peasant is the fly, like they have shown over here. And the more the devil wants, in this sentence, the devil is the nobility. It is said that the more the devil wants, the devil has, the more he wants. Now the struggle to survive. The population of France rose very fast. It rose at a very rapid rate, about 23 million. Now it became. So the productions of grain had to naturally increase to support such a huge population. The production of grains had to increase, but it could not keep up with the pace. So the king increased the prices of the bread, which was the staple diet of the peasants. So, and the workers' wages were still poor, means they were very low. They were not their salary was not increased, so they normally could not keep up with the rise in the prices. So this widened the gap between the rich and the poor even more, and this led to subsistence crisis, which is an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered. That means they are not even having access to their basic needs. Now at this time, we can see this question: name the taxes paid by the people of France who paid these taxes and to whom. Now the taxes which were paid by the third estate of France was taille to the state, tithes to the church, and the feudal due to the nobility. Now what was the reason which led to empty treasury upon the accession of Louis XVI in 1774? Over here we can see that a long war had already depleted the financial treasury, but because Louis XVI helped 13 American colonies to gain their independence from Britain, this added uh, even more debt to the treasury. So let's continue. A growing middle class envisages an end to privileges. Now in this paragraph, there's actually nothing in this paragraph. So let's move on to this paragraph. There's some important points in this paragraph. One is they have described the term middle class. The middle class are the people who earn their wealth through expanding overseas trade and from the manufacture of goods such as woolen and silk textiles that were either exported or bought by richer members of the society. So this is the definition of middle class. Then we go on to learning about the philosophers like John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. John Locke's book Two Treatises of the Government and Rousseau's book The Spirit of Laws. No, sorry, The Spirit of Laws is a book by Montesquieu, and Rousseau carried forward the idea of, social contract. That's it for this paragraph. Now this is like a timeline of France or the Russian Revolution. Oh, sorry, French Revolution. Louis XVI had to increase taxes for, we have learned for what, because it had their treasury had been depleted. So for raising these taxes he needed a platform. That's why he called an Estate General. Now what is an Estate General? An Estate General was a political body where all three states, the first estate, second estate and third estate, would send their representatives. However, the monarch could only decide when to call the Estate General. The last time it was done in 1614, which was 100 years ago. Now on May 5th, Louis XVI called an Estate General for proposing new taxes. He wanted to put the idea of proposing new taxes only for the third estate. Now the first and second estate had sent 300 representatives each. That means 600 representatives in total. And the third estate itself had sent 600 members. So first and second estate were against third estate. And first and second estate, if you add them up, you get 600 members. And third estate had 600 members. So if there were one vote for one member, it would have been equal. It would have been equal. So the result would be very much 50-50. However, since the history of Estate General would be like there would be one vote for one estate, and this time Louis XVI was determined to continue the same practice. But the members of the third estate demanded the voting should be conducted like one vote for one member, because then it would have been an equal kind of a debate. But when the king refused the proposal, third estate became very angry, and they were like, we had enough of this, and they walked out of the Estate General. And on 20th June they assembled in an indoor tennis ground in Versailles, where they declared themselves a national assembly, and they actually started striking and refused to disperse until they had drafted a constitution of France which would limit the powers of the monarch. And they wanted to be a society which was free of feudal privileges for the noble family. Mirabeau and Abbé Sieyès were leading this strike. Although Mirabeau was from a noble family, but he wished for the welfare of the poor people, and Abbé Sieyès was a priest. So after all this, as you can see here, they have assembled in the indoor tennis court and they are drafting the constitution. Later, they were very angry, and rise in the price of bread, bad harvest, and the bakers exploited the situation and even hoarded the supplies and sold it at very high prices. Now there were queues at the bakery, angry women, so they